Okay, everybody, and we're live. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. And I apologize for the delay. Lenny's over there representing with our shirt. Maciel came all dolled up. Morelys is our feature poet of the night. Gloria, Dayanara chatted me up. Y Gloria is here to perform as well. Okay, I'm just gonna call random names. You guys are ready? Okay, I'm gonna pick you, Alenis, because you look like you came to do this tonight.
Sheesh, thank you. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. All right, so this piece is called I Come From a Matriarch. And let's get to it. Wait, I'm gonna take a deep breath before we start this. All right, let's go. I come from a matriarch that was conditioned to serve pendejos. No shade to my abuelo. Actually, all the shade to my abuelos, because if I dare say this to my abuela, I can already hear all the ways in which I am una falta de respeto. For speaking up on the fucked up things I've seen, I'll be disrespectful. Una malcriada. Like if the misogynistic shit is tasteful. I wonder if they ever thought that maybe I was mal criada. I come from a matriarch that was taught to keep the patriarch alive, to feed machismo with the utmost pride. Like if the one que aguante más mierda gets a prize. Then they want to give advice between no seas pendeja, mija, y todos los hombres son iguales. O siendo que te llegue a la casa, tienes que aguantar. Ellos aprenden después. No seas una malagradecida. Be grateful. I come from a matriarch that was taught women do it all, but please be quiet about it and stay inside. Also, if it's possible, please hide and cover up, please, because only cueros want to be seen. Don't be distasteful. I come from a matriarch that had to fend for themselves, learning that to be heard, you must scream. To be loved is a dream, and there is no time to dream because you got to go clean. But if the man has papers, you got to go take one for the team. How's that?
I loved it. I loved it. We have a call for submissions from May about our matriarchs.
Really?
I hope that you submit that poem. Yes.
I will.
We have not posted it. Just be on the lookout because it's coming for
okay,
for mothers,
thank you.
For Dominican mothers. All right. Thank you, Alenis. That piece was incredibly dope.
Thank you for the space, Andy.
Maciel, you ready? Gloria, you're gonna be next.
I'm ready. This piece that I'll be performing is called My Body Tells Me. My body tells me to make passionate love to myself. Instead, I treat it as if she's hurt me in so many ways I should punish her for it. My body asks me to let her take a break, take a breath, and instead I take her breath away and silence her with worries. I tie her hands with ropes of fear to take a leap of faith, because faith hasn't really been on my side. Faith hasn't slept on my side. Faith instead stares at me from the other side of the room. Faith hasn't spooned me till my eyes said goodbye. Faith hasn't played with my curls. I've been afraid to take a leap of faith. I wasn't really the type to jump into anything really, even less if I was taking orders from a stranger. My body became a stranger, one I smiled at in the streets. And although her smile reflected the same sadness mine did, I still didn't find the courage to face her. My body takes the time to tell me things. Instead, I ask my intuition to do itself a favor, place itself on mute, move itself to the back of the line. My body sometimes asked me to hold her. Instead, I pile on more shit just so I can say, I don't have any spare hands. My body, the one I possess of, tells me she is tired of this abusive relationship. She tells me she'd rather be in the midst of a tornado, be drunk in a tsunami, rather peel skin off herself so that all that dead weight can slip right off from me. My body says she'll be seeing me in court soon. She will sue for the right to have her in her own body again. My body whispers to me in my dreams. Why can I hear my dreams? Are the nightmares just as loud? Or am I too scared to wake up? Thank you.
Of course, I'm muted. That was beautiful, Maciel. Thank you. Gloria, are you ready? Unmute yourself, Gloria.
I'm ready. I'm going to write, I'm writing an essay for a memoir, so I'm going to read the first 3 minutes. And I timed it last night. Panchita is my name. My new name is Panchita. Just like that, I am Gloria no more. She is dead. I put her in a casket and nailed it shut. I'm 13 years old, and I revel in the 3-symbol rhythm of Panchita. Mom doesn't understand why I changed my name or why I claim my father's Mexican blood. Shit, Mexican? Why do you want to let people know you're Mexican? I don't understand, she said. This was her repeat line of disapproval shared with everyone, especially after I refused to respond to my formal name. But I delight in the sound of Spanish wrapping itself around my American body. I slip with ease into my newly claimed persona. I spend hours spelling my new name on paper. I practice my plagiazo tag, Panchita de Hayward, por vida con zafos, XIV. This will live on the sides of buildings, bathroom stalls, classroom desks, and public transportation across Hayward, Oakland, and the San Francisco Bay. I try to understand. Mom grew up in California's Central Valley outside of Fresno, where racism was as draining as a hot sun that blazed down upon endless rows of grapes laid on broad sheets of paper by brown-skinned farm workers. With decades of anti-Mexican attacks, Mom's family refused to acknowledge that they were Mexican. The white kids called us Bix, she told me. Each summer when we worked in the fields, they'd come yell at us. Mom said this with a quick toss of her hair over one shoulder, and I don't know what to say back to her. For the record, she is bilingual, a single mother, 3 who's Spanish, Portuguese, Indigenous, and Mexican, only with her ivory skin, hazel eye, and long hair, dimpled smile, and pretty pearl teeth. Most white people think she's white, and Mom loves that shit. Mom laughs when she informs him I changed my name based upon my admiration for Senora Montalvo's daughter, Panchita Montalvo. This is partially right, yet it's wrong. In all honesty, Panchita, who's an older homegirl, has a badass lowrider. By comparison, I'm a baby chola. Her and I have never exchanged a word. The inspiration to use Francine, my middle name in Spanish, did evolve from her. She's my cousin Tia, who's older, maybe in her early 20s, and she's everything I want to be. A righteous, respected, recognized Vietnam homegirl with a badass lowrider, a full-time job. She dresses nice and goes parties with all the fine homeboys. And she's seen in all the right places. She goes to cruise night on Story and King and La Mission in San Fran. But more than anything, she has the one thing I want, and that's freedom. So that's the beginning of my story.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you so much. Okay, Dayanara, you ready?
I'm ready. Okay. So I'll be reading Dominican Flair. So this is a poem based on a movement of some kind. So here it goes. Dominican flair can be defined as the new feminine movement, whereby formerly domesticated docile Dominicanas, in the hopes to see a new mañana, have broken the indoctrination of old school generations of machismo oppression. Dominican flair is the new Latina movement of female independence. Oh, what eloquence we can handle ourselves without the supposed superimposed need to be seen, maintained by a man at his command. We're not the maintenance department for men, understand? Dominican flair is not representative of all the above. So don't believe the hype. We're not the ill stereotype about the Dominican gold digger who has traditional sticky fingers. Dominican flair is somewhere out there. Educated and productive Latina women can dig from their own pockets, so don't knock it or cock block it because we can finger themselves a buck. Dominican flair says old school is simply just out of luck. You all know what's up. It's the the housewife's time is up. Now get up. Let's wise up by rising up. The alarms went off, but don't be alarmed. Dominican flair will do you no harm. Chauvinism is what we're here to disarm. Ladies, it's time to lift up your arms, but don't say freeze because you're not under arrest. Dominican flair has said it best. Lift your arms up and let's start the wave by waving dependency away and begin to behave like the spirited sounds of the conga. It's time for Dominicans and Latinas to drop the bomba. It's time for Latinas everywhere to take over. Thank you.
All right, Dayanara. Nice. Okay. Morelys, since you're a feature poet, I'm just gonna leave you for probably closer to 8:10, okay? Arlene, is you ready with another one?
I can get another one. Give me 1 second.
Edwin, you have a piece to perform? See there? Oh, okay, thank you. You could watch through the YouTube channel, Edwin. This link is mostly for people who are performing. Thank you. Cheer her on through the YouTube channel.
All right, I found another one. This is for the ladies. This is for us. So, vagina feels. You might not think it's real. In fact, you actually might think it's funny. Sometimes I can't stay still. She does things against my will. Even thinks about stuff that gives me goosebumps and chills. Saying things like, you know the drill, play with me, give me an exhilarating thrill. Then I'd be like, man, you need to chill. You know what? 3 seconds ain't a big deal. That's when shit gets real. Here comes the waterfalls and squeals. Then she's like, thanks for the rub. Now we need a meal. Don't laugh. Because sometimes that's really how my vagina feels.
Okay, all right. Bueno, who's gonna compete with Arlenis? Who wants to bring a piece that competes against Arlenis' piece? Maciel, you got another sensual poem?
I like the way Eleni took it, but I was going towards like the love poem, you know, since we in February and stuff. But okay, Eleni, I like the different perspective. This piece is called When Love is No Longer Intoxicating. It's like running in a field of flowers barefooted. with the sun shining. It's like the sound of waves kissing rocks, splashing its love all over. It's like tongue kissing with the wind. If the wind had lips like my lover, it's like a vacation in el patio, con matas de mango, like a tan that doesn't burn. It's like smiling with no cameras, no pretending. It's like my heart spilling over pages. It's like being full, like feeling butterflies in the pit of your stomach flying towards your throat as you release them into the world. It's like freedom, like what I imagine flying feels like. Feels like untangled curls, like a plate made from mama's hands, the sky being my runway. It feels like feeling full when you've been hungry for so long. Thank you.
Maciel, are these in your book?
No, I actually wrote this in Peggy's workshop this week.
These Joanne erotic poems.
In book 2, I guess. Okay, Gloria, bring it.
Okay, it's called Midnight Sex and Pussy Wishes. Moonlight pours through the window. Silence fills the space. In the middle of a queen-size bed, awakened, captured, captivated, his texts make me crave honey molasses love. I taste him on my tongue. Seduction strokes my soul. I'm hooked. Me on one end, him on the other. Crazy and cyber, floating from Queens to above Washington Heights. 6 words seal the deal. I love ass, I love pussy. Shit, I melt into the mattress. Hunger pulsates through my veins, heats my breast, demands to be fed. However, given my silence, little did he know I'm his for the taking.
What is going on? Dayanara, ya, tú vas a tener que traer.
I know. I was trying not to go there. I was like, I saved those for like, not for the first time.
You're going to have to bring something.
Oh my God, am I going to go there? Oh, geez.
It only takes one person and then.
Ay, Dios, we went down far. Espérate.
Morelis, I'm going to call you after Dayanara, okay?
Geez.
You have so many that you can't find one.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep it safe, but I'm gonna read a poem that I actually wrote when I was in college, wishing that my mom would have the courage to say those things to my father. And this is what I have. It's called Suffering from Machismo. Planchando, limpiando, todos los días cocinando, I'm out the door. Pensando y rezando y estúpidamente amando, I can't take it no more. You're abusing, misusing, I should be refusing, hoy mismo me voy. You're complaining, mentally draining. Why am I sustaining? Ya no sé a dónde estoy. Allí está la comida, en la cocina. Algo más busca la vecina. I'm gladly out of here. Paga la renta. Aquí, aquella cuenta. A mí no me mienta. You will miss me, my dear. Make no demands. Understand, we're no longer in your chauvinistic land. Piensas mierda. Ella sí vuelve. Clean yourself, cook yourself. You deserve to be by yourself. Adiós. Mira a ver si tú resuelve. Thank you.
Bueno, I think a lot of us wanted our moms to stand up to their partner. Well, my mom, my mom did at some point, and I was just like, okay, all right. But shout out to our moms. Okay. Our next Our next poet is our featured poet, Morelys Urbano, who is currently a college student, a poet, and activist from the Dominican Republic. Partially raised in Spain, Morelys discovered the world of poetry at 13 years old and has been writing ever since. One of her main goals is to further her education with the purpose of one day being able to represent and adapt her professional career to the needs of the community she is serving. She also aspires to become a professional writer and author and use her talent to inspire others. Welcome, Morelys.
Thank you, Angie. It's always a pleasure to be performing with you guys. And like Angie and a lot of you guys already know, it's Black History Month. So we are, acknowledging our Blackness. I kind of want to like keep going on the women empowerment that we have today that I have seen and the fact that we're all women performing today. I wrote a couple of new pieces. Maybe I should start with one of them. As you guys know, being a Black woman comes with a lot since when we're little. So I wrote this piece this morning. It's basically what it is to be a Black girl in the Dominican Republic, in a Dominican society. So I did my best translating because I know a couple of my classmates are watching right now. So I'm going to read the version in English as well. Todavía no tiene un título. It doesn't have a title yet because I wrote it this morning. So, me crié a 4 esquinas de la Cañá y a una de la Capotillo, entre medio del amor y la pobreza, en una casa llena de mujeres perdidas en la costumbre de una tradición ajena a su querer, obligadas a sobrevivir y a no reconocerse propias. Y me criaron amándome entera, amándome libre y amándome indócil, porque la negra de los 70 que se fajaron en silenciar había parido a una negrita el doble de rebelde, informal y 3 veces más peligrosa. Y le tuvieron miedo. Desde chiquita se precipitaron a sexualizar su cuerpo y cuestionar sus andares. No fue de fácil domar porque si en algo sí creía, era en su autonomía absoluta. Soberana de su cuerpo, matriarca de su andar y reina de su vida. Se le pedía el silencio en conversaciones de adultos, pero ella, dependenciera, tenía que cantarle los 5 males a quien sea que le dijese que su opinión no cuenta. Entre hablares del barrio se le creía malcriada y muy niña. Cambiará cuando madure, pero se convirtió en mujer y a males del ignorante le crecieron las opiniones más amargas que una penca de sábila. Y donde era no, ella decía que sí. Y no le tenía miedo al que dirán, se movía como si el mundo era suyo. Le recitaba canciones al futuro y se le reía al opresor, decía que la vida era muy corta para andar dando largas y que quien sea que le diga lo contrario estaba nada más que lo incorrecto. También me criaron huyéndole al miedo. En traumas pasados y opiniones poco convencionales, me juré hacer todo lo que un día le prohibieron a la niña que se negaba a jugar con Barbies y prefería salir descalza a tirar canicas con los varones. Le juré la vida a la mujer antes de mí, a mis progenitoras y a mis antecesoras cuyos sueños se nublaron ante la versión sumisa de lo que el barrio dice de ser mujer. A la niña dentro de mi madre que soñaba con ser atleta antes de ser mamá. A la niña dentro de mi abuela que estaba muy pequeña para aún tener un sueño antes de ser mamá. Y constante y consciente de que mi esencia no es bienvenida en ninguna sociedad, ni pueblo, ni sala, ni hogar, me hice mía. Porque ser negra era un mal en toda boca, pero si por mí fuese, elijo este maldito mal otras 1000 veces y vuelvo y nazco negra en todas mis otras vidas. And let me read it in English real quick. I grew up 4 corners from the river and 1 from the Capotillo Street, between love and poverty, in a house full of women lost in the custom of a tradition foreign to their will, forced to survive and not recognize themselves. And they raised me loving me whole, loving me free and loving me unruly. Because the Black woman of the 70s who was obligated to be silent had given birth to a Black woman twice as rebellious, informal, and 3 times as reckless. And they were afraid of her. Since she was little, they rushed to sexualize her body and question her path, She was not easy to tame because if there's something that she believed in, it was her absolute autonomy. Sovereign of her body, matriarch of her path, and queen of her life. She was asked to remain silent in adult conversations, but didn't hesitate to scream her piece to whoever told her that her opinion didn't count. In between vague conversations in the neighborhood, they thought she was spoiled and very young. She will change when she matures, but she became a woman, and unfortunately for the ignorant, she grew opinions more bitter than a leaf of savila. And where it said no, she said yes. And she was not afraid of what they will say. She moved on as if the world was hers. She recited songs to the future and laughed at the oppressor. She said that life was too short to talk for too long, and whoever said otherwise was nothing but wrong. They also raised me running away from fear. In past traumas and unconventional opinions, I swore to life to do everything that one day was forbidden to the little girl who refused to play with Barbies and preferred to go out barefoot to play with the boys. I swore my life to the woman before me, to my ancestors whose dreams were clouded by the submissive version of what society says about being a Black woman. To the girl inside my mother who dreamed of being an athlete before being a mother. To the girl inside my grandmother who was too young to even have a dream before becoming a mother. And constant and aware that my essence is not welcome in no society, no town, no room, no home. I made myself mine because being a Black woman was evil in every mouth. But if it were up to me, I will choose this curse another 1,000 times and be born a Black woman again in all of my other lives. Thank you. Should I perform another one, Andrew? Okay. So yo lo escribí esta semana. I wrote this one earlier this week, and the reason why I'm performing this one is most about the essence of being a woman, of course, a Black woman. I always include my Afro-Latinidad in all my poems. But I really wish that more Black women will be inspired about writing poetry about them in a third person. I think it's very therapeutic. ¿Es así que se pronuncia? To write poetry about yourself. It's really healing, and it helps you look at yourself from a different perspective. I recommend that to the women that are struggling with loving themselves. Writing poetry about yourself in a third person and romanticizing your life. That's really beautiful. So, ¿cuál poeta? Negra de trópicos caribeños, rizos, multiplacer y cintura estrecha mi querer, porque se cotiza como ella sola y no se la da porque ya la tiene. La conocí con los brazos llenos de libros y el corazón cargado en penas. Ella nunca dejó que los libros la paren de correr a alcanzar el bus si hace falta, o que las penas le prohíban volver a amar. Y me la puso difícil la negra, porque por muy dispuesta se creía indispuesta y por muy tenaz se creía sutil. Y ahí se acostaba mi primer error. La miré desde la inocencia y me creí capaz de ganarle a la negra en un juego en el cual la vida ya le había dado 3 medallas. La saqué a comer un par de veces y a la hora del cheque ni se preocupaba en mirarme. Ella sabía que para mí era un honor pagar por ambos. Intimidante su independencia con un auge de los 80. Si quisiese paga el bill y doble de su propina. Pero una mujer como ella no tiene por qué hacerlo. Me hizo temerle a su poca dependencia en mí. No me tenía como prioridad, pero me obligaba a priorizarla. Muy clásica, siempre bien peinada, lista para dejarme tirado si el corazón se lo pedía. Tacones altos, dependiendo de la ocasión, o una colección de tenis y gorras en caso de que le apetezca algo más casual. Única como ella sola, y libreta consigo 24/7, bien apasionada a sus escritos. Ella era poesía, e irradiaba poesía, y en ese vaivén yo me creía Coelho. The English version, Black girl from the Caribbean tropics, multi-pleasured curls and a waist narrow to my love. And she played hard like only she does. And she didn't need to give because she already had it. I met her with her arms full of books and her heart loaded with sorrows. She never let the books stop her from running to catch the bus if she needed to, or that her sorrows forbid her from loving again. And she made it difficult for me, the pretty Black girl, Because no matter how willing she thought she was indisposed, and no matter how tenacious she thought she was subtle. And that's where my first mistake lays. I looked at her from innocence and believed that I was capable of beating the Black woman in a game in which life had already given her 3 medals. I took her out to eat a couple times, and at the time of the check, she didn't even bother to look at me. She knew that it was an honor for me to pay for the both of us. Intimidating her independence with a fresh glimpse of the 80s. If she wanted, she could pay the bill and double the tip, but a woman like her didn't have to do it. She made me fear her lack of dependence on me. She didn't have me as a priority, but forced me to prioritize her, and I did. Very classy, hair done, always well-groomed and ready to let me down if the heart asked her to. High heels, depending on the occasion, or a collection of sneakers and hats in case that her soul desires something more casual. Unique as herself. Journal with her 24/7, very passionate about her writings. She was poetry. She radiated poetry. And in that swing, I thought that I was Coelho. Thank you. No sé, Angie, si tenemos todavía tiempo, ¿no?
Uno
Sí.
más.
No más. Uno más. Ok,
Yeah, uno más.
Bueno, yo voy a recitar entonces el que no se puede quedar porque es about blackness, ¿verdad? La Oda a la Mujer Negra. Este es el poema del que seguramente la mayoría de ustedes me conozcan porque es el único poema que tengo por muy imposible que sea de creer. Este es mi único poema que yo tengo fuera. Nunca he publicado ningún otro poema más que este. Y espérame que ahora lo perdí. Entonces, oda a una mujer negra, Ode to Black Women. Bella, oscura y cocola, como el alba de un amanecer intenso, impune, porque de la vida has hecho tu reino, de cual tesoro tu color y de corona esa interminable cabellera. Negra, porque así te hiciste mía y te hiciste tuya sin duda, impartiendo al más noble la duda y al más seguro la leve y cálida comprensión de tu ser. Bella como cada trazo que compone tu persona, tanto en la amplitud de tu física imagen como en tu ente intelectual. Únicas son las curvas de tu sonrisa o las que da la vida de quien no te ve venir. Irreemplazable tu cuerpo que por tantos años herido ante la mirada perversa y el dedo opresor del que con recelo te juzga e hipócritamente añora lo que por gracia la vida te dio. Oscura como cada noche de abril en el más tenue anochecer en las costas del Congo y única como solo tú predicas y hermosa, desde los dedos de tus pies hasta el último rizo en tu cabello. Negra, negra, negra y bella. Bendita negritud la tuya, que hace que resalten tus facciones muy lejanas a lo socialmente aceptable, lo moralmente coherente y lo comúnmente hablado, pero muy cerca de lo perfecto de ti. Bendita negritud la tuya, desafiando las leyes de la gravedad con tu melena y absorbiendo los rayos del sol cual bendita tu piel, creada sutilmente por la divinidad del cielo. Mujer. And in English real quick.
Definitivamente ese era el que no podía faltar.
Sí.
Thank you for sharing.
¿Lo hago en inglés o no?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Ode to Black women. Black women, beautiful, dark, and cocola. Like the dawn of a beautiful sunrise, free because you have made of your life your kingdom, from your skin a treasure, and from your never-ending hair a crown. Black woman, because as such you make yourself mine and yours with no doubt, sharing with the most humble the doubt and with the most confident the soft and warm understanding of your soul. Beautiful like every trace that composes your essence, both in the amplitude of your physical image as in your intellectual entity. Unique as the curves of your smile, or the ones that take the lives of those who you approach and don't see you coming. irreplaceable your body that for many years hurt by the perverse eyes and the pointing of the oppressor, who with jealousy judge you and hypocritically desires to have that by grace life already gave to you. Dark like every night of April in the softest sunset in the coast of Congo, and unique like only you preach, and beautiful from the bottom of your feet to the last curl in your hair, black, black, black and beautiful. Blessed blackness of yours that makes your features stand out, though very far from the socially accepted and the morally current and the commonly spoken, but very close to perfection, very close to you. Blessed blackness of yours, defying the laws of gravity with your hair and absorbing the rays of the sun, how blessed your skin, created subtly by the divinity of heaven, Black woman. Thank you.
I cannot wait for your book to come out. Where's the manuscript? How far are you?
I'm about to this month.
About to finish this month, only has a week left.
And I'm about to finish in that week.
Wow. So you're still writing new pieces.
I am still adding. I'm still adding, yes. I'm sorry, because you came in here, you were like, yeah, I wrote this morning. I wrote this earlier this week. So how often do you write? Where do you find inspiration to write, especially, taking your classes, being in school? Angie, I could be in the middle of my classes. If I find an inspiration, I'm gonna open the notes app in my phone and I'm gonna start writing. Sometimes it comes so naturally now that sometimes I have to stop myself from thinking about things so I don't have to write about them, because sometimes writing can be, draining and things like that. Sometimes I'm like, no, today we're not writing today. No poetry for today.
Wow,
but
that's a good problem to have. Because so many of us deal with writer's block and lack of motivation in writing. So, I'm glad that you still have that motivation, at least until you put the book out. Then you could just relax.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Gloria, you have something else for us?
I do. Let me take a look. But I don't know if I could follow that up. You guys are excellent writers. I'm in awe. And I really like how all the themes that you've been sharing, they resonate with me as a Chicana. I'm like, oh, should I know that?
Who are you, Gloria? You're awesome too. Your memoir. What are you doing with that memoir writing that you're sharing with us today? Are you publishing it? What are you?
I pulled that out, and God bless the power of writing, because my niece changed her name. She called me up last month and she said, Thea, I changed my name to Emma, which is our grandmother's name. And I asked her why, and she said, because of trauma. I said, oh shit, I have a story just about that. So I pulled that out, and that's going to be part of my memoir, which is part of my poetry as well.
Wow. That's very powerful.
It's been a crazy ride.
I can imagine.
Growing up. So this is one about my grandmother. Grandma Emma's magic bottle. Small and wrinkled like the green grapes she once picked and left to dry on large brown sheets spread under the sun-drenched field of the Fresno Valley, Grandma Emma was a queen of magic. Wearing a much-loved gray streaked, slightly wavy, short wig that was always tilted to the side to cover her thinning hair, she wore colorful polyester pants and matching blouse by one of 5 daughters who competed fiercely for her attention. This mother, wife, abuela, who looked like a Midwest grandmother, toted a big black bag everywhere she went that had enormous power. So Grandma Emma, ever ready for that moment when food became an act of eating around a formica table, opened that old lady purse, and from the midst of wrinkled tissues, pieces of papers, a tattered phone book full of family name numbers, a treasured coin purse with stuffed green bills, From amongst all this mess, she pulled out, like a rabbit from a magician's hat, a bottle of spicy green or tangy red New Mexican chili perfected from decades of cooking for 10 children, a husband, an army of extended family friends, and the church members. And us grandchildren who only spoke English watched her with wide eyes, our mouth hanging open, as grandma, who only spoke Spanish, poured her much-loved chili into every variety of Campbell's soup, Denny's special priced hamburgers, and across all you-could-eat lunch buffets from Fresno to San Francisco in her endeavor to add flavor to American food. I'm sorry if I started getting dry mouth, sorry.
That was wonderful. I love the imagery.
Okay, thank you so much, Gloria. Dayanara, you have another one?
Yeah, I do. We were talking about Blackness, and I have vitiligo, and I wrote a series of a collection of poetry based on my journey with losing my physical Blackness. So I go back and look at pictures of my brown face and I miss it. So I have a poem called Manchas, Why Me? And I did that only because it's kind of difficult when you eventually have it and then people adjust to it. People look at you weird. You see yourself every day in the mirror and you feel weird. So I did it to empower other people who are going to it with it, because I think that it's a way to kind of help each other out and motivate each other the more you learn. And then when you see somebody who has vitiligo, you become self-aware, and knowledge is power. And people are beautiful regardless of what they look physically. So it was a humbling experience, by the way. And I wasn't born brown. I got it after my first childbirth at 27. So it was like an adjustment. So this was my therapeutic journey with it. So I want to share it with you guys. So this is what I have. Manchas, why me? When did I really start to pay attention? I wasn't born spotted. Did I fail to mention? A tiny white dot crept in and formed on my left chin. Actually, it added some character to my cynical grin. At 28, postpartum depression didn't occur. When I reflect back on my brownness, it all seems like a blur. Mommy said, mira, it's time you go see el doctor. Pero ¿y por qué si esto no causa dolor? There might be something wrong with your liver. To my surprise, a quick diagnosis was delivered. You have vitiligo, was the confusing answer. Hey, at least it's not deadly. You don't have cancer. How the fuck is that response is going to make me feel when it's dead smack on my face, looking unreal? Y toda esa mancha en tu cara, will the white spots go away por la mañana? Doc, what do you mean there is no cure? Like, pero de verdad, like for real, for sure? Anyone living with vitiligo has asked, why me? People ask, is it a virus, a disorder, or a disease? When I was little, I thought they were burn victims with white spots. Now I contemplate if that's what people think when I'm looked at a lot. People say God doesn't give us anything we can't handle. Yet, what do? Cry, pray, meditate, or light a candle? My 3 sisters say, out of all of us, I would handle this best. They might be right. Maybe God has put me to the test. Did I ever tell you guys I was vain as all hell? Ironically, life had the last laugh, and time did tell me that it was time I grew up and be humbled. Did getting vitiligo make my whole world crumble? Well, in my youth, I was a tall, thin Dominican beauty. Guys would pass by and say, oh, what a cutie. Call cats and checking out my booty. Went out with hot guys like it was my duty. Leaving guys stranded on the dance floor if they couldn't dance. If they didn't have salsa moves, they wouldn't stand a chance. Now the universe is watching at a glance as vitiligo takes over, making a stance. Fate screamed, bitch, Be humble, sit down. When vitiligo kicked in, did I wear a frown? Initially, yes. I'm not going to lie. All the white patches I couldn't hide, dead smack on my beautiful brown face, feeling hopeless. I couldn't control its pace. My brownness is slowly being permanently erased. Thank you.
Thank you, Dayanara. See, if you don't say anything, we would never have guessed.
You wouldn't notice? You don't see my touch?
No, you know what? On camera, it doesn't
Oh, maybe,
like, until
maybe because
you
of the light.
mentioned it, then I'm like, oh, okay. But mira que no, because
No se
the
nota.
shadows of the camera and whatnot.
Yo creo que la luz.
Yeah, y la luz. So
Sí.
yeah, no, I definitely was not noticing. Okay, Maciel, you got another piece?
I have a short one. This one is called Sisters, after Uceli Clifton. Me and you, sisters. Me and you wear matching outfits. Shaved our eyebrows at 12. Me and you pranked mom. Me and you share the same dad. Me craves conversations with dad. You build an even stronger bond. Me listens to rap and hip hop. You listen to Romeo Santos' album on repeat. Me and you travel to DR. You fall in love with our neighbor. Me falls in love with a stranger. Me and you both from El Campo. You love it more than I do. You give me 2 nieces. You wait for yours. I shake my head to your request. You live in the present. I plan for the future. Me lets anxiety hug her thoughts. You live freely. Me and you, sisters.
Wow, that's a beautiful piece. A little bit sad, but beautiful. But then it made me think of my own sister and how we grew up so differently as well. She was raised by her dad, by our dad, and I wasn't. So it's a huge difference between the both of us because of that. So that was a nice reminder. Okay, thank you, Maciel. Okay, who wants to close it out? Alenis, you got another fiery piece out there so you could close out tonight's open mic?
I do. I want to say no, but I do. Let's do it. All right, so this piece is called Dick and Weed.
I'm not even gonna ask, will you spend your time?
It sounds good, but it gets deep. All right.
I hope we still get grants after this. Go ahead.
We will. They're gonna need to give us those grants after this because we be going through some shit.
Go ahead, ladies.
All right, so Dick and weed. Yes, indeed. That was the medicine for me. Let me clarify. Good dick and preferably some sour D. How could you? My mama said to me. It was clear she didn't understand the recipe. Agony, depression, and anxiety was taking the best of me. I couldn't breathe. I was looking for air desperately. She couldn't see that was the fix for me. Dick and weed, yes, indeed. It was life's precious gift to me. I had to justify. There were reasons why I couldn't identify. At times, it felt much easier to just hide or lie. I mean, who wants to admit that they want to die? A crackhead is what you will ought to be. After all, isn't that to what marijuana leads? She said to me, el vicio this, el vicio that, and she wouldn't stop. See, mama, you didn't realize your judgments only made me feel attacked. All I could do was strike back, which always left me empty and detached. One day out of the many, I finally yelled back. Why didn't you just abort me? You think this is life for me? At this point in my life, I was already numb, so I kept going. You know, suicide isn't an option for me because your son stole that from me. What the fuck is so wrong with the fact that I self-medicate herbally? I saw it in her eyes. I OD'd. The pain was running deep on both ends. There was nowhere to meet. I crossed the line in pursuit of defeat. How dumb could I be? Now I'm in need to be comforted sexually, all because Mama and I couldn't see that one, just like the other, wasn't here mentally or emotionally. Dick and weed, yes, indeed. It was like oxygen for me. Life had fucked me, so I rolled up and I fucked it right back. What was I supposed to do? Cut it some slack and not throw it back? Cautiously selective, good dick and stank weed, the fix was effective. That was that. Oye, mami me va a dar una pela si ya oye eso, but that was the fact.
You a grown woman, ya, Arlene. Ya no se te puede dar pela.
Oye, como quiera, ya coge su chacletazo.
But thank you all. Thank you so much for coming through, for being like the only 6 people here on this open mic today. But nevertheless, I really enjoyed it. You brought it. It's so inspirational to hear what everybody is writing. And sometimes it makes me say, do you have anything to write, Angie? Because I don't write anymore. Dominican Writers takes up all my creative time. But I really enjoy to see what you guys are working on, and I hope to see you all publish your work, publish your pieces. We have some call for submissions coming up on our website, and if you're not part of the Mighty Networks creative writing community for a writer's salon, please join us. We post tons of information for you to publish your work and get it out there. Learn, we have info sessions. We have the Sunday writing salons as well for you to come through and write. So, hit me up on Dominican Writers if you want the info. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put it in the chat here, but let me just close out this YouTube. So I just want to say good night to everyone who viewed. We had about 15, 16 people who are viewing us on the YouTube channel, applauding for all of you and cheering you on and thanking you for sharing your work with us tonight. I'm going to